Last year, I made a video about my 2023 art resolutions. Let's reflect, look back, and see how I did. Afterward, I thought we could take some time to plan together for 2024. The first resolution in my original video was get better at drawing cats. Draw pages and pages of cats. I actually didn't do this or focus on it at all. To be honest, I think I forgot about it pretty quickly, and it's interesting because I actually ended up drawing a bunch of cats in November as part of my final motion design project for my user interface class. Because I'm not the best at drawing cats, they turned out kind of awful, and I had to hand animate them a bunch because I set myself up for failure with the type of project I decided to make. If you want to see more of that or hear more about that, let me know in the comments and I could try to make a video about it. So in the end, this resolution was kind of a failure, but that's okay. I still grew a lot as an artist in other ways, even if they weren't necessarily ways I planned or expected. Failures are just chances to learn more, and honestly, most of the time I learn more from failure than from success anyway, so it all worked out. The next resolution was color, maybe by creative pieces with complementary colors. That was my little system. I didn't end up creating specific color-focused pieces, and I ended up using a lot of pink, once again, as usual, but I did end up with pieces whose colors I liked more and that felt more cohesive to me. So I would say that this one was like mostly failed, but once again, it's okay, I'll just keep trying. And I did end up making some pieces that involved complementary colors without really even thinking about it. It was my Pandora Hearts Halloween acrylic charms series. When my Etsy video comes out, we'll get to see more of that, and so stay tuned. The next resolution was backgrounds, not just in full illustrations or scenes, but also behind character designs. A background of some kind for each piece I create. To be honest, I kind of forgot about all of my art resolutions because I just got really busy, but I actually managed to achieve this one for the most part. I'll talk about this more with the next resolution, but 2023 kind of ended up being my year of art in some ways, and the art I've made this year has been my favorite. Not just because I like the final products or how it turned out or whatever, but because this year I've had more fun making art than I've had in a very, very long time, and I am so grateful for that. So, without even remembering that this was a resolution, I did end up making more backgrounds than usual. Here's a little smattering of some of them. If you've seen my other videos from this year, then you've probably seen some of these pieces already. In case you haven't, my Instagram is lunar__echo. There are 2 underscores, and I try to be a little bit more active over there. Some things didn't necessarily have full backgrounds, but they did feature more than just a character vibing in an empty white void, which is more than I can say for other years. So I'm really happy that I've managed to achieve this, and it's one step closer to being the artist that I want to be. I tend to use different mindsets as an artist and as a designer, which is often good, but this year I tried to think about my art in more of a design sense. This was difficult for me before because graphic design has never been my strong point, and I'm only as good of an artist as I am or at the level of art that I'm at because I've just practiced for years and years, and it was kind of the only thing that I focused on for a long time. Adding design to art kind of confuses my brain in a little fun way, but I think doing so really helped because they are the same thing in a lot of ways, and I want to make art that incorporates graphic design. And the final resolution was making sure art stays fun. I managed to achieve this as well, actually. I don't really know how, to be fully honest. Art just felt more fun to me this year, and I am so grateful for that once again. It's been difficult not really feeling like art was enjoyable at all, especially because art is one of the few things that I do find incredibly fun, and I was watching myself stagnate for a couple years, and it was really discouraging to look at the art I was making and just feel like, bleh. It wasn't where I wanted it to be. It wasn't what I wanted it to be, and I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't enjoying making it, and I felt pressured to make it. And this year, I just made art that I wanted to make, and the art that I wanted to make worked really well. Because I love analyzing, I want to just analyze maybe a few reasons why this could have happened, because number one, it's kind of scary to have success without really knowing why, because it feels like it could go away at any time. And number two, it helps me replicate it, and it helps you replicate it too if you're struggling with similar things. I think some of it involved canvas sizes. I made all of my art this year in 8.5 by 11, and it felt like I finally found the perfect Procreate canvas size. The brush strokes are just right, not too pixelated, not too thin either. I'm using a custom version of the Technical pen and medium hard airbrush if anyone is curious. If I were to stop and analyze, I think something else that contributed to finding art fun again was treating digital art like traditional art. One of my favorite things about traditional art and working in a sketchbook is just the ability to slap things down and be funky and fun with what I'm making. And I tend to forget that that's an option with digital art, or when I try it, often it doesn't work as well because there are just too many options and my little rat brain gets completely overwhelmed and the product I create is like a weird garbage pile. But I really tried to just let go of perfectionism and expectations and to just make art that makes me feel good and happy, and somehow it just all came together. Art just felt like it was working. I wish I knew why. I can feel that I'm a little nervous that it's all gonna just evaporate with the coming year. But one of the things that I wish I could tell my younger artist self is you will figure it out and it will be okay. Even if it's not always okay, when it is, it will be so worth it. So keep trying and keep making art. I also want to talk about ways I've grown that were outside of my resolutions. So I've always struggled with being a very, very, very slow artist. But this year I was able to make art much more quickly with less pain and less frustration, and art that I'm actually really pleased with. I picked up gouache. I haven't done much with it yet, but I've been finding it really fun. I finally started my Etsy shop. That's been a long time dream of mine, and in doing so I've made a bunch of stickers, some acrylic pins, I never thought that I would be able to do that, and keychain charms, which are my dream. I also created an editorial journal for the writing organization I'm part of at my university, and I've begun freelancing. I made a few websites for clients this year, which has been very lovely and cool. Now, if you've been following along or checking off your own art resolutions alongside me, take a minute to appreciate all you've accomplished this year. Even if it's not as much as you would have wanted, it's still amazing. Look back and see how far you've come. Again, even if it's not a lot, a step forward is a step forward, and I'm proud of you. Now that we've explored the ways we've grown, I wanted to take a few minutes to plan together for the new year. If you want to plan along, grab a journal, your phone, iPad, something like Notion, and let's spend some time thinking about who we want to be and what we want to achieve. I have kind of a lot of goals for the coming year, and not all of them fully have systems yet. I want more designs in my Etsy shop, both Pandora Hearts and non-Pandora Hearts. I want to create cool new product ideas. I want to design and sell some washi tape. And in terms of that, I want to be more on top of shipping, ordering, and packaging this year. I also want to create more story art, both static illustrations and comic or novel snippets. I want to blend illustration and design more. This one might need a system, the above might as well. I want to understand more about color in my own work, perform some color studies in general, actively create practice pieces to help with color, kind of like I said I was going to do this past year and never did. And in terms of YouTube, I want to film more of my space. To figure out why I haven't been, I kind of tried to analyze, and the main issues I usually run into are feeling like it's not aesthetic enough and feeling like it's too dark. I have a couple ring lights, but things just never look as beautiful and perfect as what a lot of people post on Instagram, and that made me realize that maybe one of my coming goals is to have a better, mental health relationship with Instagram. My feed is gorgeous. It's literally full of just the most amazing reels that anybody has ever seen. They are so beautiful. And every time I make a reel and it doesn't look like that, I feel like I can't post it. And sometimes I do post them anyway, and then I'm like, man, I should have tried harder, or tried to make it look better or something, but it's just always really dark. I just need to let go of that perfectionism and stop wanting my art to look like everyone else's, or wanting my space to look like everyone else's, or my cinematography to look like everyone else's, because that's just not possible. So I'm gonna try to really move my ring light around instead of letting it sit in the same place all year, and I don't want to be so hard on myself. I'm gonna make content, and that's what matters. I'll get better as I make content. editing Luna here, I just have to point out that I despise how my voice ended up sounding and like the way that I'm talking throughout this whole video. It's honestly been a while since I've recorded a video, number one. Number two, I scripted the whole thing, which I don't always do, but I was trying to make it easier to edit. But regardless, I just hate the way it sounds. I hate the way I'm talking, and I'm trying to push past it because it's all already cut, and that kind of ties into pushing past perfectionism and just being like, all right, this is what we're doing. But I love this piece, and it's one of my favorite pieces that I've honestly ever made, so it's kind of like frustrating that I feel like the voiceover sucks for this video because of the way that I'm talking for honestly one of my favorite pieces. But if you like this piece too, you can buy it as a sticker in my shop. It's on my laptop too, we can be twins. Also, we can see from this very video that one of the things I improved at this year was also drawing flowers, which has been the bane of my art career for years. Like literally the bane. Specifically roses. Roses have given me grief for literally so long, and I finally feel like I can draw them consistently well and like I understand how to draw them. Here are just some flowers that I've drawn this year that I'm proud of. But yeah, roses, they're basically giving themselves a big hug, and that's how you draw them. Overall, I hope that 2023 has been a good year for you. Either way, the new year is always an opportunity for growth and change. Even if it's a little scary, I know I myself get scared at the beginning of the new year, and I start to feel sentimental for the old year because the old year meant something to me, and the end of that just kind of hurts a little bit. But let's step forward together into 2024 and let's do our best to achieve our goals. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, for planning with me, for subscribing. If you've subscribed, there's so many people subscribed this year, and I am so grateful for that. So I really want to say thank you, and I appreciate all of you, and the support that you've given me is just crazy. Thank you. Peace out.